You think you've seen it all with Caitlin Clark? Meet Kaleena Smith. She's 15 years old. She just scored 62 points in a single game. And scouts are saying she might have a deeper bag of tricks than any high schooler they've ever seen, including Juju Watkins. The question everyone's asking, is she the next Caitlin Clark? Or is she something we've never seen before? By the end of this video, you'll understand why the entire women's basketball world is watching a sophomore from Ontario Christian High School, and why college coaches are already calling her the most skilled scorer since Caitlin Clark changed the game. Here's what makes Kaleena Smith different. When Caitlin Clark was in high school, scouts talked about her range. When Juju Watkins was dominating, they talked about her volume scoring. But Kaleena Smith? At 5'6", she's pulling up from the logo like Steph Curry. She's got handles like Kyrie Irving, and she's doing it against defenses that know exactly what's coming. She's not just a scorer. She's not just a shooter. She's a problem that high school coaches have no answer for. Let me show you the numbers that have college coaches losing sleep. In her freshman season, Kaleena Smith averaged 35 points per game. Let me repeat that. As a 14-year-old freshman, she was dropping 35 a night. Not 15, not 20, 35 points per game. For context, Caitlin Clark averaged 27 points per game in her freshman year at Iowa, against college defenders, against Big Ten defenses that had entire scouting reports dedicated to stopping her. Kaleena Smith was doing 35 in high school, as a freshman, against teams that had never seen anything like her before. But that's just the average. Let me tell you about the games that have scouts from South Carolina, UConn, and Stanford showing up to watch a sophomore. Then came January 15, 2026. Ontario Christian versus Riverside Prep. Kaleena Smith scored 62 points, 8 three-pointers, 12 assists. She broke the school record, she broke the conference record, and she did it in 3 quarters. The coach pulled her in the 4th because the game was over. The final score? 98-52. Let me paint the picture for you. By halftime, Kaleena had 38 points. The opposing coach had already tried 3 different defenders on her: box and 1, triangle and 2, double teams at half court. Nothing worked. Every time she touched the ball, the gym got louder. Every time she pulled up from 25 feet out, the bench jumped to their feet before the ball even reached the rim. But here's the stat that tells you everything you need to know. In that 62-point game, she shot 55% from the field. From three-point range, 50%. She took 16 three-pointers and made 8 of them. That's not volume scoring. That's precision. That's a player who knows exactly when she's open, exactly when she has space, and exactly when the defense has given her what she wants. Now here's where the Caitlin Clark comparisons start making sense. Caitlin Clark changed women's basketball because she proved you don't need to be 6'4" to dominate. You need vision, you need range, you need confidence. Kaleena Smith has all 3. At 5'6", she's even smaller than Clark. When she stands next to her teammates, she looks like she should be playing JV, not carrying the varsity team. But watch how she uses her size. She's low to the ground. Defenders can't strip her because she keeps the ball on a string. She can stop on a dime and create 3 feet of separation with a simple hesitation move. And because she's always the smallest player on the court, nobody expects her to shoot from 30 feet out. But she does, over and over again. There's a video going viral right now. Kaleena Smith brings the ball up the court. She crosses half court. She's still 5 feet behind the 3-point line. 3 defenders are scrambling to close out on her. She doesn't hesitate. She rises up. Swish. The bench goes insane. The crowd goes insane. And the opposing coach calls a timeout because he has no idea how to stop a 5'6" sophomore who's shooting from parking lot range with the same confidence most players have from the free throw line. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. That's the same fearlessness that made Clark appointment television for 3 million people. That's the same range that made defenders panic the moment she crossed half court. Unlike most girls who play AAU, Kaleena grew up playing pickup against high school boys in the park. They didn't take it easy on her. That's where she learned to shoot from 30 feet, because she couldn't get inside. By 8th grade, Division I programs were already sending recruitment letters. By freshman year, she was breaking records. Her nickname? Special K. And now, at 15, she's doing things that have scouts comparing her to the greatest scorer in women's basketball history. But is she actually better than Juju Watkins? The numbers say yes. When Juju was in high school, she dominated with volume. She'd take 25 shots a game. She'd score 40, 50, sometimes 60 points. she was unstoppable. But her efficiency was always the question mark. Scouts would watch her film and say, "She's incredible in high school." But can she do this against college defenders who've studied her film for 6 months? Can she adjust when the defense takes away her first option? Juju proved them wrong at USC. But the questions were fair. Kaleena Smith is different. In that 62-point game, she took 24 shots. She made 13 of them. That's 54% shooting. Most high school players who score 60 points take 40 shots to get there. From three-point range, she took 16 shots and made 8. That's 50% from 3 in a game where she scored 62 points. That's not a player forcing shots. That's not a player who needs the ball in her hands every possession to be effective. That's a player who understands spacing, understands timing, and understands when to attack. Here's the other difference. Juju Watkins used size and strength. At 6'1", she could bully defenders. She could get to the rim whenever she wanted. She could finish through contact. Her game was about power. Kaleena Smith uses skill and IQ. She's got a hesitation dribble that freezes defenders for a full second. She's got a step-back jumper that creates 3 feet of space even when defenders know it's coming. She's got a crossover that drops defenders to the floor. And she's got the confidence to pull up from 30 feet out with a hand in her face. Watch the tape. She doesn't just beat defenders, she embarrasses them. There's a play from last month that's been viewed 500,000 times on Twitter. Kaleena gets the ball at the top of the key. Her defender is playing tight, hand in her face, trying to deny any space. Kaleena does a simple between-the-legs dribble, then a behind the back. Then she stops. The defender lurches forward, expecting a drive. Instead, Kaleena rises up for a 3. The defender is 3 feet away by the time the ball leaves her hands. Swish. Nothing but net. That's not something you can teach. That's instinct. That's feel. That's the same kind of creativity that made Caitlin Clark must-watch television. Which style translates better to the next level? Power or skill? Size or IQ? If the last 5 years have taught us anything, it's that skill wins. Caitlin Clark proved that. Sabrina Ionescu proved that. And now, Kaleena Smith might be the next proof point. So is Kaleena Smith the next Caitlin Clark? Here's the honest answer. It's too early to say. Clark didn't just score. She made everyone around her better. She changed the culture of Iowa basketball. She turned a program that had never won a Big Ten championship into a perennial powerhouse. She brought 3 million people to the national championship game and made women's basketball appointment television. That's not just talent. That's leadership. That's presence. That's the ability to carry an entire program on your shoulders and never let them see you struggle. Kaleena Smith is 15 years old. She's got the skill. She's got the confidence. She's got the range that makes defenders panic. But the real test comes in 2 years, when she steps onto a college court and faces defenders who've been studying her film for months. When she faces double teams from players who are 6'3". When she faces zone defenses designed specifically to take away the three-point line. When she faces coaches who've built their entire game plan around stopping her. That's when we'll know if she's the next Caitlin Clark, or if she's something even better. What we know right now is this. A 5'6" sophomore just scored 62 points in a game. She's doing things at her age that Juju Watkins wasn't doing. She's drawing comparisons to the player who changed women's basketball forever. And she's only getting started. College coaches are already making recruiting pitches. They're showing up to her games. They're calling her dad. They're watching every single highlight, every single box score, every single interview, because they know what everyone else is starting to figure out. This isn't just another talented high school player. This is someone who could change the game the same way Caitlin Clark did. But here's the thought that should terrify the rest of the WNBA. Imagine this. In 2030, Caitlin Clark will be 28 years old, in her prime. Kaleena Smith will be a rookie, stepping onto an NBA court for the first time. Imagine a backcourt with 2 Caitlin Clarks, one with 5 years of WNBA experience, one with fresh legs and something to prove. Imagine defenses trying to stop both of them from pulling up from 30 feet. Imagine the pick-and-roll opportunities. Imagine the spacing. That's not just a championship roster. That's a dynasty. That's the nightmare scenario every other team in the league is looking at right now. And if you're a Fever fan, that's the dream you should be holding on to. Because every generation has a player who changes the game. In the 1990s, it was Lisa Leslie. In the 2000s, it was Diana Taurasi. In the 2020s, it was Caitlin Clark. The question is, will the 2030s belong to Kaleena Smith? And will she be wearing a Fever jersey when she does it? So what do you think? Is Kaleena Smith the next Caitlin Clark, or is she something completely different? Drop your take in the comments. And if you want more coverage on the next generation of stars, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning.